Welcome to the second Asia International Water Week on air, the opening event. And today we will be discussing under the theme of enhancing water cooperation in Asia in the post-COVID-19 era. My name is Ju-Yan Cho, and I have been given the honor of being your host today. Thank you very much. From now on, the second Asia International Water Week on-air opening will officially begin. To begin with, I would like to introduce our attendees for the opening event. First and foremost, we have Mr. Jae-il Pyun, President of the AAWC and lawmaker of the Republic of Korea. Thank you very much. We also have Dr. Taehyun Park, the President of AWC and CEO of K-Water with us. Thank you. And we also have Mr. Jong-sung Lim, Treasurer of AAWC and lawmaker of Korea. We also are graced by Dr. Dong-jin Kim, Director General for the Water Resources Policy Bureau at the Ministry of Environment. Thank you very much. Also, we have Dr. Dong-jin Lee, Vice President of the Global Business Division at K-Water. Thank you very much. And next, we also have some online participants from those who are far away, but also online. We were to have His Excellency, Mr. Basuki Hadi Mulyono, the Minister of Public Works and Housing from Indonesia. But due to the flood damages in Indonesia, our minister had to join President Joko Widodo, and there was a last-minute change in his attendance today. We also have Dr. Somkiat from Prajamong, Secretary General of the Office of the National Water Resources, Thailand. Thank you very much for your attendance. We also have Dr. Bambang Susantono, Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development of the Asian Development Bank. Thank you. We also have Mr. Sahib Nazarov, Vice Minister of Housing Communal Services of Uzbekistan with us. Thank you very much. And of course, our AAWC members, Mr. Muhammad Afzal Khan from Pakistan, Mr. Nawab Yusuf Talpur from Pakistan, Ms. Amrita Thapa from Nepal, and Ms. Mari Grace Costello from the Philippines. Thank you once again for your attendance. So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, the President of Asia Water Council, Dr. Taehyun Park, will deliver his opening remarks. Please welcome him with a warm round of applause.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second AIWW opening. I am Jae-hyun Park, AIWG President and the CEO of K-Water. Firstly, I am grateful to the honorable members of the 21st National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, Mr. Jae-il Pyun and Mr. Jong-sung Lim, Asian Water Ministers, ADB Vice President, and all participants for joining us today. First of all, I deeply appreciate HE Minister Basuki Hadimulyono's participation despite the severe flooding situation in Jakarta. On behalf of the AWC, I express my sincere condolences to the victims and hope for rapid recovery. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has been an enormous threat to all types of economic, social, and cultural activities in the world. In spite of the hardship the world is experiencing, cooperation on a scale that has never existed before. To overcome COVID-19, the global health industries, governments, and academia has been closely collaborating through the exchange of technologies and information. These efforts have accelerated the development of vaccines and vaccination programs in numerous countries. This level of cooperation shows what we can achieve in the water sector to resolve water issues in Asia and beyond. As part of this effort, the second AIWW on-air aims to solidify the preparation for the second Asia International Water Week by engaging various stakeholders, raising global interest in water issues, as well as advancing water solutions through cooperation. I sincerely look forward to meeting you all in person and listening to your invaluable opinions throughout the fruitful discussions in Indonesia this November. Once again, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Park, for opening the forum for us today. Thank you very much for your kind words. And next, the distinguished member of the National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, Mr. Jae-il-pyun, will deliver his congratulatory remarks. Please welcome him to the stand with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. I'm Jae-il-pyun, President of the AIWC and a lawmaker of the Republic of Korea. Dr. Jae-hyun Park, President of AIWC, His Excellency Bhaskar Hadi Mulyodh, Minister of Public Works and Housing of Indonesia, Mr. Im Jong-sung, Treasurer of AIWC, Dr. Dong-jin Kim from the Ministry of Environment of Republic of Korea, Honorable AIWC member Muhammad Alfazal Khan and Nawab Yusufpal Puru from Pakistan, Amrita Thapa from Nepal, Attorney Imma Santos for Mary Grace Carstello from the Philippines, and all of the distinguished guests from around the world. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to all of you for participating in the second AIWW on-air opening today. COVID-19 is the latest example of the impact of this destruction of wildlife habitat caused by climate change and continued population growth. WHO claims that hand hygiene is one of the most effective actions to prevent the spread of COVID-19. However, 40% of the world population, about 3 million people, lack access to water and soap. According to the World Bank, world's poorest have least access to safe water and adequate sanitation and hygiene. This global pandemic is telling us that it is time to address global water insecurity and global inequality. It is essential to fulfill the human right to safe drinking water and sanitation in order for the pandemic to come to an end. In this regard, this event today, discussing our future cooperation for the post-COVID-19 era, will be a very timely and relevant conversation. AIWW on-air opening and the upcoming on-air sessions will be a great opportunity to share our worldwide expertise and knowledge in order to accelerate the investment towards the water-related SDGs and prepare for the future pandemics. In addition, On behalf of 23 AIWC members from 9 countries, we promise to take a leading role in realizing Asia's water welfare through political and legislative effort. For the post-pandemic world, I firmly believe that we will be able to find and share practical solutions to achieve common prosperity in Asia and at the second AIWW in Labuan Bajo, Indonesia. Once again, I extend my sincere gratitude to all of you for joining us today and wish you all the success of the second AIWW on air. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Mr. Pyun, for your kind remarks. And next, because our Minister Basuki Hadi Mulyono could not attend in person, we will have Dr. Mohammed Zainal Fatah from the organizing committee of the second AIWW to deliver Minister's remarks on his behalf. So please welcome Dr. Fatah to the screen.
His Excellencies and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on this auspicious occasion, I would like to convey an apology from Minister Basuki because he couldn't able to leave the event with the Mr. President to join this very important event. Please allow me to deliver Minister Basuki with coming remarks. Welcoming remark from the Minister of Public Works and Housing Republic of Indonesia on the second Asia International Water Weeks, the AIWW opening. Minister of Environment of the Republic of Korea, Excellency Dr. Han Jong-ae, for representative. Minister of Water Resources and Meteorology of Kingdom of Cambodia, His Excellency Kim Ho. Vice Minister of Water Resources of the People's Republic of China, His Excellency Chen Shubin. President of the Asia Water Council, Dr. De Jong Pak. President of the Asian National Assembly Water Consultative Board, Mr. Jill Yu. Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development, ADB, Mr. Bambang Susantono. Second, the AIWW on air opening panelists and presenter, all participants, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. It is a great pleasure to honor for me to welcome all of you this afternoon on the second Asia International Water Week open. Let me express my enormous appreciation to the organizing committee for arranging this event and to all distinguished guests who participate in this event amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is a very large archipelagic country with total population more than 270 million population. Based on the study conducted by the Ministry of Public Works and Housing, the potential of surface water in Indonesia is about 2.78 trillion cubic meters. However, as in the case of other Asian countries, Indonesia has faced three water problems, namely too much, too little, and dirty. This problem intertwined in the potentially disastrous way with climate change and socioeconomic issues. Too much water has caused devastating impact, so as floods, landslide, and other water-related disasters, which are exacerbated by climate change and uncontrolled land conversion. Too little amount of water caused by drought and lack of water reservoir infrastructure has made it difficult to provide clean water for the population, which later triggers water conflict. Dirty due to water resources are often shared with livestock and filled with untreated wastewater and bacteria. To overcome these problems, integrated water resource management by employing the concept of one river, one plan, one management is being implemented. IWRM has been carried out through water resources conservation, efficient water use, water provision for various demands, and water-related disaster prevention. Ministry of Public Work and Housing, Republic of Indonesia, has supported the implementation of IWRM in Indonesia by building structural measures to overcome water problem and to enhance people welfare through the development and improvement of dams and reservoirs as water storage to overcome and to deal with drought. Irrigation network for agricultural needs, river and coastal dikes as flood protection to anticipate the risk of future water-related disasters. Wastewater treatment plant and drinking water supply system to increase the quality and quantity of clean water for both drinking and daily needs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the current COVID-19 pandemic has obliged everyone to follow a set of health protocols to contain the spread of SARS-CoV-2. One of them is to practice and washing regularly with clean water. This health-related practice would like become a new public habit in the foreseeable future, even though the pandemic is over. The provision of clean water to support these new normal practices would become a new challenge to the public infrastructure sector. A recent study conducted by the Indonesia Water Institute shows that the consumption of clean water during the COVID-19 pandemic has increased 3 times higher than in the normal condition. Expenditure of water has increased up to 5 times higher than in normal condition. Such a significant increase in household spending on clean water has occurred at a time where most of the householders are undergoing a significant decrease in income due to the pandemic-related economic restrictions. One of the Ministry of Public Work and Housing reform to support the national economic recovery is by implementing what we call Cash for Works program, which increased job opportunities significantly for those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2021, the Ministry of Public Work and Housing allocates total budget around 1.66 billion US dollar for the program to employ about 1.23 million labor in various public work and housing sector. In the field of water resources, the program is divided into several categories, namely acceleration irrigation water use improvement, development of artificial rainwater saving aquifer, operation and maintenance of irrigation system, swamps, river, dam, reservoir, and retention basin, which are all done by farmers and local residents. Recently, the national vaccination program has been started. The aim of the national program is to reduce nationwide health vulnerability and thereby reduce economic uncertainty due to pandemic-related health problems. On the 23rd and 24th February 2021, today's more than 5,000 of Ministry of Public Work and Housing employees have participated in the vaccination program. I hope that the implementation of the national vaccination, especially in the Ministry of Public Work and Housing, will allow the growth of construction industry. This distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the second AIWW on air is a series of a virtual conference organized as a preliminary event to raise global interest and encourage participation in the second AIWW. This event covers 3 pillars of the AIWW, namely Asia to the work statement, Asia water issues, and the water project business forum as well. We will organize 6 webinars where each of us in our predetermined that represent water issues during the world, especially in the Asia. So the outcome of all second AIWW on air session will be delivered to the second AIWW in November 2021. In this event, our participants are expected to demonstrate how the practical solution can be achieved throughout sharing of process on planning to implementation, as well as follow-up, which is considered as a core value of the Asia Water Council, in procedure to resolve the Asian water problem linked with the Sustainable Development Goals. Again, I would like to congratulate the Asia Water Council on the second AIWW on air. I wish you a very successful event and fruitful discussion. Thank you. The Minister of Public Work and Housing, the Republic of Indonesia, and Basuki Hadi Mulya. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, there was all the remarks from Dr. Basuki, Minister of Public Work and Housing, the Republic of Indonesia. All regards from Jakarta, Indonesia.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fatah, and thank you once again, Mr. Basuki. And next we have Mr. Chung Sung Lim, Treasurer of AAWC, who will deliver his congratulatory speech. Please welcome him to the stand.
예, 안녕하십니까. 이 AAWC 재정관을 맡고 있는 국회의원 임종성입니다. 이 자리에 함께 해주신 존경하는 AIWC 변재일 회장님, 또 박재현 AWC 회장님, 인도네시아 공공사업부 바스키 장관님, 아시아 각국 국회의원님을 비롯한 많은 분들께 진심으로 감사의 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 특히 인도네시아 바스키 장관님, 인도네시아 홍수가 잘 해결되기를 진심으로 기원드리겠습니다. 저는 오늘 제2차 AIWW 온에어 행사에 AIWC 재정관으로 참석하게 되어 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다. AIWC는 AWC의 중요한 협력 파트너로서 아시아의 물 문제 해결을 위해서 많은 노력을 함께 기울이고 있습니다. 특히 아시아 나라의 효율적인 물관리, 수자원 확보, 물가 위생 개선 등을 위해 여러 건의 워터 프로젝트 사업과 공동 연구 사업을 진행 중에 있고, 또한 제도적 뒷받침을 위해 법안 제정 등을 계속 추진 중에 있습니다. 제2차 AIWW 행사는 이제 막 아시아를 넘어 세계를 대표하는 국제 물주간 행사로 자리 잡고 있습니다. 작년에는 코로나 상황으로 인해 아쉽게 개최되지 못하고 올해로 연기되었지만 그만큼 준비 기간이 길어지므로 행사 내용은 매우 알차게 진행될 것으로 생각합니다. 오늘 온에어 행사를 잘 마무리하고 순차적으로 이루어지는 일정들에 대해서도 잘 준비되어서 올해 11월에 예정된 AIWW가 성공적으로 개최되기를 희망합니다. 준비 과정 중에서 AAWC 또한 변재일 회장님을 비롯해서 각국의 의원님들과 함께 제2차 AIWW 성공을 위해 필요한 지원 사항에 대해서는 적극 지원토록 하겠습니다. 올해부터 코로나 백신이 접종되기 시작했습니다. 백신 접종이 순차적으로 잘 진행되어서 11월에는 꼭 인도네시아에서 개최되어 많은 분들과 자리를 꼭 함께 하기를 기대해 봅니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you once again, Treasurer Lim, for the great congratulatory speech. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a lot of congratulatory speeches today. So next, the Honorable Minister Jung Hae-han of the Ministry of Environment of the Republic of Korea has sent her congratulatory remarks.
안녕하십니까. 대한민국 환경부 장관 한정혜입니다. 제2차 아시아 국제물주간 언에어 오프닝 행사 개최를 축하드립니다. 오늘 아시아 물협력 논의를 위하여 뜻깊은 자리를 마련해 주신 아시아 국회의원 물협의회 변재일 회장님, 아시아 물위원회 박재현 회장님, 인도네시아 공공사업부 바스키 장관님께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 또한 어려운 시간에도 귀한 시간을 내어 참석해 주신 중국, 태국, 필리핀, 캄보디아, 우즈베키스탄의 장 차관님과 아시아개발은행 부총재님, 그리고 국장님을 비롯한 모든 귀빈께 감사드립니다. 내외 귀빈 여러분, 유엔은 지속가능 발전 목표 6번, 모두를 위한 물과 위생 목표 달성을 위하여 2018년부터 2028년까지 10년을 물행동 10년으로 천명하고 전 세계 회원국의 협력과 실행을 촉구하고 있습니다. 아시아를 비롯하여 지구촌 여러 국가가 겪고 있는 물 문제는 개별 국가의 노력만으로 극복하기 어렵다는 것을 우리는 잘 알고 있습니다. 특히 코로나로 인해 지속 가능하고 깨끗한 물이 인류의 생존에 얼마나 중요한지 우리는 새삼스럽게 깨닫고 있습니다. 코로나와 기후위기로 물의 중요성은 더욱 강조될 것이며 이러한 인류 공동의 문제를 극복하기 위한 협력 플랫폼으로서 아시아 물위원회와 아시아 국회의원 물협의회의 역할은 더 막중해질 것입니다. 한국은 지난 7월 그린 뉴딜 계획을 발표하고 이어서 작년 10월에는 2050 탄소 중립 목표를 선언하면서 깨끗하고 안전한 물관리 체계 구축에 힘쓰고 있습니다. 또한 포스트 코로나 시대와 신기후 변화 체제에 대응하여 국제기구와의 공동연구, 국제개발 협력사업 등 국제사회와의 협력을 강화하고 있습니다. 이번 국제물주간을 계기로 아시아 물복지 향상과 물 문제 해결에 더욱 이바지할 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다. 이러한 의미에서 오늘 포스트 코로나 시대 아시아 물 협력을 주제로 개최되고 있는 제2차 아시아 국제물주간 언에어 오프닝 행사는 중요한 의미를 갖습니다. 오늘을 시작으로 약 6개월간 진행되는 제2차 아시아 국제물주간 언에어 행사를 통해서 아시아 전역은 물론 전 세계 물 문제 해결에 이바지하기 위한 심도 있는 논의가 이루어지기를 기대합니다. 각국의 장 차관님, 국회의원님, 그리고 물 분야 전문가분들의 활발한 토의를 통해 아시아 최대의 물 관련 국제 행사인 제2차 아시아 국제 물주간의 성공적인 개최를 기원합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Minister Han, for your kind words. And next, the Honorable Vice Minister Sahib Nazarov of the Housing Communal Services of Uzbekistan has sent his congratulatory remarks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants of the event. Let me sincerely welcome the participants in today's ceremony and express my deep gratitude to the Asian Water Council and the Ministry of the Public Works and Housing of Indonesia for organizing today's event, which is the first step for the second Asian International Water Week. Ladies and gentlemen, against the backdrops of climate change and a storage of water resource, the world has entered a fundamentally new period of development due to the serious change caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In this difficult period for all countries, a serious challenge continues to be the task of sustainable provision of the population with adopt to further develop the water sector and integrate water resource management in the post-COVID-19 post-pandemic period. In particular, targeted reforms have begun to introduce more smart technology solutions scattered the make smart meters, digital the industry, and introduce modern information technology, improve the replace equipment with energy-saving plans, and increase social awareness of population with the rational use to water. In consult, let me once again express my science graduate to the organization for holding these meetings and high level. Of course, virtual communication can serve as a temporary bridge, but we hope the main event of the second International Water Weeks in person and meet you face to face. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Vice Minister. Thank you very much for your kind words. And next up, we also have His Excellency Minister Lim Kien Hao of the Water Resources and Meteorology of Cambodia to deliver his congratulatory remarks.
Excellency Basuki Hadimuljono, Minister of Public Work and Housing of Indonesia, hosting conference. Dr. J. Yong Pak, CEO of K-Water and President of the Asia Water Council, Excellency, distinguished participants, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of the Ministry of Water Resources and Meteorology in Cambodia and AIWW Council member, it is indeed my great pleasure and honors to deliver my congratulatory remark on 24 February 2021 as preliminary event of the Second Asia International Water Week on air to raise global awareness on Asia Water's problem and attract public interest for upcoming Second Asia International Water Week AIWW that will organize in November 2021 in Luban, Bazo, Indonesia. Water is considered as the precious resources for supporting the sustainable livelihood and development of all people and countries in the globe. Investment in water resources sector development and management toward the better outcome in supporting the development is critically needed and important, but very challenging in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic in emerging climate change. Joint effort and stronger cooperation and partnership within the individual country and through bilateral and multilateral framework are considered as an effective working and collaborative approach for the sustainable solution in addressing water-related problems, working toward the desired outcome above. It requires high-level political will, commitment, and support. As one of the countries in the region, the Mekong and Asia, I would like, on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, to emphasize our firm commitment in supporting and promoting the regional and international cooperation and partnership for the sustainable water management and development toward the achievement of the sharing prosperity and sustainable future. I am the firm belief that preliminary event of the Second Asia International Water Week on air today is raising global awareness and attacking public interest related to our region water challenge and problem for contributing to help foster the transboundary water management and cooperation within bilateral and multilateral framework for driving successful of Second Asia International Water Week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for your kind remarks. Thank you. And next, we also have the Honorable Vice Minister Tia Shui-bin of the Ministry of Water Resources, China, to deliver his remarks.
尊敬的亚洲水理事会朴ዘይ贤主席，尊敬的印尼公共工程与住房部卡迪摩尔约洛部长，尊敬的各位部长、代表团团长、女士们、先生们，大家好。 非常高兴参加第2届亚洲国际水周线上水周开幕式。第2届亚洲国际水周受新冠肺炎疫情的影响而推迟，但亚洲水理事会和印尼公共工程与住房部克服种种困难，以后疫情时代的亚洲水合作为主题，开启线上水周系列活动，推动亚洲国家实现水安全。这次我谨代表中国水利部表示衷心的祝贺，对主办方为本次活动所做的精心准备致以诚挚的谢意。中国是水利大国，在水资源可持续利用、流域生态保护和高质量发展、水利工程建设管理等领域积累了丰富的经验，非常愿意与亚洲各国水利同行交流分享。亚洲水理事会已成为重要的区域水合作平台，积极促进亚洲各国水治理水平提高，推动了地区可持续发展。中国水利部赞赏亚洲水理事会所做的积极贡献。作为亚洲多边水合作的积极参与者，我们将不遗余力地支持亚洲水理事会发展壮大，积极参与筹备第2届亚洲国际水周，以期如期顺利的召开。中国有句谚语：大河有水小河满，小河有水大河满。亚洲各国山相连，水相通，有着相同的梦想追求。面对百年未遇的新冠肺炎疫情，亚洲国家更要团结一致，共克时艰。我们倡议亚洲各国进一步加强多双边的水合作与交流，分享成功的治水经验和实用技术，共同应对区域水挑战，以水资源可持续利用保障经济复苏繁荣，共建天南地绿水清的美好家园。最后，预祝此次线上水周活动取得圆满成功。谢谢。
Thank you very much, Vice Minister Shevin. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Dr. Bambang Susantono, Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development of the ADB. This is a keynote address, but because we are slightly delayed on time, we would like to ask for your understanding and ask for you to please use 3 minutes for a short presentation. Thank you very much.
Water Council, President J. Yeldun of the Asian National Assembly, Water Consultative Board, Mr. Zainal Fatah, and Dr. Fidel Salim from the Indonesian Ministry of Public Works and Housing. I myself stressed that advancing water security was also fundamental to achieving the SDGs. This is because water security closely relates to those SDGs that address poverty, food and energy security, good health and well-being, sustainable cities and community, gender equity, reducing inequalities, climate actions, and the health of ecosystem in general. Part of AIWW's 2020 value additions lies in the relevance of its analysis for concrete policy decisions at the country level. This is why we have already begun holding country-level launch events, starting with Indonesia last month. I hope you can see a picture of Minister Hadi Mulyono in the slide here, who joined us to deliver his keynote remarks. ADB and Ministry of Public Works and Housing Indonesia are truly great partners, and we would like to see this relationship continue in the future. The launch was followed by the technical webinar sessions held yesterday. The participants discussed opportunity to further operationalize AIWW as a policy tool for achieving the SDGs and water security. This is what we call in ADB knowledge solutions. In this case, we are not just producing and sharing knowledge, but also translating the knowledge into actions on the ground to provide solutions to many problems and challenges at the community level. The AIWW 2020 uses 5 key dimensions to assess water security, defined as the availability of adequate water quantity and quality. We want to ensure there is a safe, affordable, equitable, and inclusive water supply and sanitation. Such water security will promote sustainable livelihood and healthy ecosystem while helping us manage water-related risks. AIWW 2020 also analyzes water financing and governance issues, and it includes 4 country case studies: China, India, Thailand, and Timor-Leste. In the previous AIWW editions, we also had Bhutan and Mongolia as case study. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in AIWW 2020, we created a map that labels economies by their national water security scores. These derive from a composite index of the 5 key water security dimensions. Of the 49 economies we examined, only Afghanistan remains in a nascent water security stage. The highest score were in advanced economies like New Zealand, Japan, Australia, and Republic of Korea, which are rated as effective. None has reached the highest category of the model stage. To put it more bluntly, despite our region's many achievements over the past decades, 1.5 billion rural people and 600 million people in urban areas still lack adequate water supply and sanitation. In short, there is much to do to improve water security across Asia and the Pacific. This slide shows the relationship between the National Water Security Index scores and the gross national income per capita. It is clear that the two are closely related. We must therefore continue to work on all the dimensions of water security for the economic prosperity of the people across our regions. So let me briefly discuss the 5 key policy recommendations in the AIWW. First, economies must put water at the center of sustainable rural development. Policies should promote water-efficient agriculture irrigations, community-based water and sanitation services, and disaster risk reductions adapted to local conditions. Second, we can achieve urban water security by investing in water, sanitation, and disaster risk reductions, not only in city centers, but also in low-income and peripheral areas. Third, we can provide a healthy environment by drastically reducing pollution, stimulating a circular economy, increasing land protections, and embracing nature-based approaches and solutions. Fourth, we must increase water system resilience to avoid water-related disasters and to be prepared for climate change and other global trends. And lastly, we must leverage additional resources and bring good governance to better manage our water resources and attract greater investment. And I must add that all of these recommended policy actions are required to be executed in a gender-conscious manner. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, from 2020 to 2022, Asian Development Bank has programmed $6 billion in financial and technical assistance for safe water supply, sanitation, and wastewater management. There is also over $2 billion allocated for flood risk reductions, together with our tailored knowledge services that promote innovations, build resilience, and importantly, forge partnership. We at ADB are committed to this journey together toward a more water secure and resilient Asia and the Pacific. So let us all join hands to reach this goal and to build back better in a post-pandemic world. Thank you for the opportunities.
Once again, Ms. Dr. Susantono, and excuse us also for cutting short your presentation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we also have an introductory video on the second AIWW on air to be delivered. So please turn your attention to the screen. Well, what a beautiful country, and we have high hopes that we will all be able to see you in person in November of this year. So before we move on to the panel discussion, I'd also like to give you a brief statement about the second AIWW on-air opening. So we have started it today on February 24th, and we will have a series of sessions until June 17th. As a preliminary sessions to prepare for the November 2nd AIWW. We hope to see a lot of participants, and we ask for your undivided attention and interest. So thank you once again, and now moving on to our panel discussion. Because we are slightly pressed on time, we kindly would like to ask all of our panelists to please remain within the 2-minute boundaries of your speeches. And with that, I'd like to introduce some of our guests that we were not able to introduce previously. So we have Dr. Somkiat Prajamong, the Secretary General of the Office of National Water Resources of Thailand. We also have Dr. Robert Guild, Chief Sector Officer of the Asian Development Bank with us. And on behalf of the Minister from Indonesia, we have Dr. Firdaus Ali, the Special Advisor to the Minister of Public Works and Housing of Indonesia, and also the Vice President of AWC. And thank you. With that, I'd like to move on first to our first question, and it will go to Dr. Prajamong. In terms of water, Thailand is expected to utilize state-of-the-art technologies to respond to climate change and water risks, together with the countries in the Mekong region. So, what kind of strategies will Thailand employ with the fourth industrial revolution for managing water resources in the post-COVID-19 era? We ask for your answer.
Yes, thank you very much. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon from Thailand. Sawadee krap. So before going any further, I would like to thank AIWC to organize this on-air opening to be the platform in addressing one of the most striking and challenging issues in our world today. And I am very glad to be here as a part of this event to share Thailand's perspective on this issue. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that fresh water is the basic of life on our planet. It is the basic human right, critical factors in the health of global environment, and vital part of the business operation. We have been long acknowledged that water is prone to human-regulated and natural-induced factors. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has proven that water is also fragile to other uncontrolled factors. COVID-19 has enormous impact to both water demand and supply, and also affect the way we communicate and negotiate for water management, such as the increased use of teleconference and the on-air opening that we are experiencing right now. With the movement of people to their hometown or from the city and from the community, because of jobless caused by COVID-19, in Thailand now we have about 25,000 infected cases. This makes the demand of water fluctuated, resulting in uncertain planning of water supply. Consequently, a good strategy and investment in digital transformation is needed to transform the conventional way of water resource management, particularly in the Trans-Boundary River, such as the Mekong River, as its effects can go beyond the local boundary. As water has no boundary, therefore we need the whole basin data for the effective Trans-Boundary water management. We're looking for very, very effective evidence, especially scientific evidence, such as the satellite image or like a remote sensing. Those data are for monitoring, analyzing, forecasting, and measuring against water hazards. Those data of history record and the current record then collected for different use, such as for scenario operation. This never-end process of data analyzing or performance data will help to improve optimal product for decision support system. why we need technological help for decision support system, digitalization of seamless water data sharing, or open source come through data sharing we call open water online. Right now, Thailand has developed one map as ideal tool for the effective water management. The objective of this technology is to build one data platform in the Mekong River Basin. At the very first step, we can start from the existing initiatives such as the Mekong River Commission, Asian, or even the ASMEC mechanisms. We are looking for data and information flow as we believe that this will drive cross-border transfer of knowledge, greater efficiency in operation, and enhance access to cutting-edge water management. To do this, governments need to create a safe, seamless, and efficient ecosystem for data sharing and use in order to ease data flow and improve access for all. This has to be designed carefully with respect to National Data Protection Act, which will in turn build users and business confidence. Further, a creating of regional center of excellence could be a good start to promote technology, innovation, and application by sharing knowledge about emerging technology and trends as well as implications on business in the region. This also includes structured programs to help government, business, and other stakeholders within and across region effectively develop any data sharing ecosystem. And that are the view from Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Dr. Prajamong, for that concise presentation. They do say that data is the 21st century gold. So we hope to see and hear more from you in the November AIWW. And now moving on to our second question, I would like to direct this question to Dr. Ronald Guild. The Asian Development Bank published the Asian Water Development Outlook 2020, or the AWDO 2020. Could you briefly introduce to us what this report is and share its strategies to resolve Asia's water risks and issues in the post-COVID-19 era?
Sure. Thank you very much for that excellent question. ADO 2020 is ADB's flagship publication on water security that adopts a multidimensional methodology to examine the state of water security and define policy recommendations. As we all know, water security plays a fundamental role in inclusive and sustainable economic growth, social well-being, resilience to water-related disasters and climate change, and healthy environments. All of this is even more urgent now due to the pandemic because access to water, sanitation, and hygiene offers the primary line of defense against the spread of disease. Considering strategies to improve water security, ADO 2020 highlights the need to dramatically increase investment. I will describe some of the details of the policy recommendations introduced by Dr. Susantono earlier. First, rural household security is paramount in the Asia and Pacific region, given that nearly half of the region's population are still living in rural areas. Second, to improve urban water security, we need to recognize the need for better engagement with socially vulnerable groups in informal settlements and follow a gender-based approach. Third, a resilient, evidence-based approach to water systems could enhance future preparedness for water-related disasters and pandemic security. The current pandemic has made this both obvious and urgent. Fourth, there is a range of additional policy recommendations such as improving security by reducing pollution, fostering a circular economy, embracing nature-based solutions, enhancing security by putting water at the sustainable of rural development, and promoting good resources governance to leverage additional financing. And finally, advancing water security requires convening all public, private, and innovative forms of financing, especially since the pandemic has affected the fiscal space of sector entities and partners everywhere. In closing, I want to reassure that ADB will continue to work with its developing member countries by providing financial, technical, and knowledge solutions, including partnerships and multi-sectoral knowledge products. We will continue helping to improve water security in the region through the current pandemic and beyond as we all rebuild towards a sustainable future. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Guild, for a concise but also compact answer. I believe that ADO 2020 and water security is also focused on investment and financing, but thank you once again for that comment. And now I'd like to move on to a question for Dr. Firdaus Ali for Indonesia. So the Ministry of Public Works and Housing will host the second AIWW in November of this year. So could you share the expected outcomes of the second AIWW, as we believe that it will be a very significant event?
Thank you. Very good afternoon from the capital city of Jakarta, of Indonesia, Jakarta. So on behalf of the Minister of Basuki, I would like to respond to the question. The second Asia International Water Week will be held in November 2021 in Labuan Bajo, Indonesia. As the spread of COVID-19 has been the greatest concern globally, our government will continuously monitor the current status and prospect of the COVID-19 pandemic for the participants' safety. On the second AIWW 2021, it is expected that we can share experience and knowledge to formulate solutions for water issues to be used as a reference in water resources management in Indonesia and other Asian countries. In regard to the new capital relocation project, we plan to create a smart metropolis which serves not only a smart city but also as modern place that complies with world-class infrastructure, standard and smart technology to improve city livability, resilience, and sustainability. Water resource management is undoubtedly needed for the new capital city to able to continuously to meet water needs and create sustainable water resources. I believe our discussion in the second AIWW 2021 in Labuan Bajo will also bring benefit for the government of Indonesia and also the new capital city of Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your answer and also taking your minister's place in the panel discussion. So thank you, and we hope to see you in November of this year. Well, thank you for that. And now moving on to our next question. I believe we have a question for panelists here. For Mr. Dongjin Kim of the Ministry of Environment. The COVID-19 pandemic has demonstrated the importance of water resources for social and economic reconstruction towards the green economy. Here in Korea, we also talk about the Green New Deal these days. So what does the Korean Ministry of Environment expect from its Green New Deal in the water sector? And how does the ministry intend to cooperate with other Asian countries?
예, 우선 좋은 질문에 감사드립니다. 우리 한국 정부는 기후변화 시대를 맞아서 물 관리를 스마트화하는데 굉장히 많은 관심을 갖고 있습니다. 이 분야에 대해서 많은 아시아 국가들과 협력을 하고 싶다는 말씀을 드립니다. 우리 물 관리에 대한 대표적인 분야가 댐, 하천, 또 홍수 관리 분야입니다. 또 도시 상하수도 관리도 상당히 중요한 분야입니다. 이 분야에 대해서 우리 환경부는 많은 투자를 하고 있고 대표적인 한 예를 소개시켜 드리면 홍수 관리에 있어서 댐 관리 같은 분야는 스마트 댐 관리 시스템을 지금 시작을 했습니다. 또 앞으로 3년 안에 인공지능을 통한 홍수관리 시스템도 도입을 할 계획입니다. 도시 상하도 관리를 스마트화하는 사업도 추진을 하고 있습니다. 이 분야에 특히 우리 오늘 참석하고 이 행사를 주관한 기관인 수자원공사에서 많은 노하우를 갖고 있고 또 해외 진출 경험도 갖고 있습니다. 앞으로 참석하신 많은 나라들과 이 분야에 대해서 협력을 원하고 있고 앞으로 환경부와 적극 지원하고 또 협력하고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 국장님 감사합니다. Thank you very much, Mr. Kim, for your comment. As you have heard, probably from the interpretation, the Korean Ministry of Environment is seeking to share various different experiences in terms of water management with other Asian countries, more specifically dam management as well as flood management. And he also mentioned the incorporation of AI and other technologies in the fourth industrial revolution. So now moving on to our last question for today, I would like to direct the question to Dr. Jae-hyun Park. In the post-COVID-19 era, the water industry needs a new driving force to support its growth. And in the meantime, carbon neutralization is also considered as an opportunity to comply with the post-2020 climate regime, which actually starts this year. So what strategies does K-Water have, and how does your organization wish to cooperate with other countries in Asia?
예, AWW 회장과 K-워터 CEO를 맡고 있는 박재현입니다. 먼저 제2차 AIWW 온에어 오프닝에서 K-워터의 탄소 중립 이행을 통해 아시아 국가의 지속 가능 개발 목표 SDG 달성 협력 방안을 소개하게 되어 매우 뜻깊게 생각을 합니다. 탄소 중립은 인류 생존과 관련된 보편적 가치이며 탄소 국경세 도입 등 경제에도 큰 영향을 미치는 글로벌 패러다임입니다. 대한민국도 2020년 12월 2050 탄소 중립 추진 전략을 발표했습니다. K-워터도 한국 공기업 최초로 기후위기 경영 및 RE100 참여를 선언하고 탄소 중립 목표 달성을 위한 로드맵을 준비하고 있습니다. 물 전문 기업 특징을 살려 댐 수면을 활용한 수상 태양광 사업을 대규모로 확대할 예정입니다. K-워터는 주민과 사업 수익을 공유하고 새로운 비즈니스 모델을 활용해 28년까지 10.5 기가와트를 개발할 계획입니다. 또한 물의 온도차를 활용해 건물 냉난방 에너지를 40% 정도 감축시키는 수열 에너지 시스템을 롯데월드타워와 K-워터 사업장 13개소에 적용 중입니다. 이를 도시계획과 연계해 신도시 기본 유틸리티로 구축하는 사업도 진행 중에 있습니다. 영국과 같이 K-워터도 정수장 탄소 중립을 추진하고 있습니다. 이미 넷제로 모델 정수장을 운영하고 있으며 2023년까지 43개 정수장에 태양광과 수열 에너지를 적용하고 2030년에는 전체 정수장에 넷제로를 달성할 계획입니다. K-워터는 물 분야 탄소 중립을 위한 선도적 역할을 수행할 것이며 아시아의 대표적 협력 플랫폼인 AWC를 통해 지역사회와의 갈등을 해소한 주민 참여형 수상 태양광 모델, 수열 에너지 사업 수행 사례 및 노하우 공유, 기술 전수 등을 통해 아시아 국가들의 물 분야 탄소 중립 실현에 적극 협력해 나갈 것입니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Dr. Park. And as he mentioned, as the leading water organization in Korea, I believe that we will pursue various different activities in the future, and we also have high expectations as to cooperation in the Asian region. So thank you once again, panelists, for the great answers. I believe we have enough time just for one question, so I would like to give an opportunity to the floor for some of our participants if you have a question. So if you do have a question, please raise your hand and we'll direct your questions to the panelists. So I believe that we do have a question. So yes, Mr. Xavier, please ask your question and also direct your question to one of the panelists, please.
Thank you very much for taking my question. My name is Xavier Leflèvre. I work at the OECD in the Environment Directorate. The OECD has been working with most of the panelists actually to strengthen the enabling environment that can accelerate financing for water-related investment in Asia and the Pacific. So I would like to thank the distinguished panelists for very inspiring remarks. And my question is more specifically directed to Dr. Park as president of AWC. When it comes to financing for water-related investment, what would you see as successful regional cooperation in Asia and the Pacific? And how can we all contribute to an ambitious agenda for the Asia International Water Week on Finance? I look forward to your answer, and also importantly, to meeting you in Labuan Bajo in November. Thank you.
Yes, I believe that question was directed to Dr. Park.
예, 말씀하신 바와 같이 저희는 OECD와 AWC 환경부가 공동 연구를 통해 아시아 9개 나라에 대해서 공동 연구를 추진을 하고 있습니다. 2020년에는 타일랜드를 진행을 했고요. 인도네시아 같은 경우는 올해 진행을 하고 있습니다. 예산은 나라별로 약 $60만 정도의
$600,000 for each country is the budget we have for this research and study. And so $5.5 million in total is the budget for this project that we're conducting. And through this study, particularly, we're trying to address mitigating water disasters such as floods and droughts. So we want to bring about sustainable development and secure water security and try to present technical and policy solutions to resolve these issues to vulnerable Asian countries. And this kind of research results should be shared through AWC at the AIWW so that water-related investment and water security enhancement efforts can be promoted. And so we're also going to make the Asia Welfare Report, which diagnoses water issues in Asia and establishes feasible plans. And through this, with the AWC member bodies, we are going to plan water projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that great question as well as the great answer. I was told by the organizers that we have time for just one more question. I believe I saw a hand being raised. Was there a gentleman who had his hand up before? Yes, I believe I see you up on the screen. Yes, I believe you have a question. I think it's Deputy Director General from Laos.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to have the one question regarding to the development of the water sector in Asia country. As you are aware that each country in Asia is the different development water sector. So my question is that how can we go together? I mean that how can we manage and how can collaboration with each other in Asia country? Thank you.
And thank you. Who did you direct your question to?
Sorry?
Who was the question directed to, once again?
I mean that as you are aware that in Asian country, we are different development of the water sector. So that's why my question is that how can we cooperate and how can we manage together in the future? For example, in Lao PDR, the purpose of the water utilization on mostly for the hydropower, but in another country they use the water is a different purpose. So that's why how can we manage and how can we assist each other in the future.
Thank you
Can
very
you get my
much.
point?
Yes, I think that your question may be answered by Dr. Park once again.
Yes, thank you.
질문하신 바와 같이
So just like the question was
아시아는
asked, in
여러
Asia,
가지 이
there
다양한
are
상황에
various
놓여 있다고
levels
생각합니다.
of response right now. There's the situation all different, climate situations are different,
산업도
and
다양하고
industries are all different
따라서
in
거기에
Asia.
필요로
So
하는 수자원의
there's water resources and water security issues are all different. The urgencies are all different for all countries. So through this platform called AWC that we have, we want to bring that diversity together. And just like the question was asked just now, we have to work and do research with various different countries because there's different characteristics in all different countries. So we have to analyze that and research that, each one. And based on that, the ADB or other bodies such as the OECD, these bodies, we consult with them and try to tackle and address these issues. We have to find the policies that are right for each respective situation. So in this second AIWW, we want this to be discussed in depth, these issues that we've talked about. And in the response just now, in the ADB, I think, let's see, earlier there was from the ADB. Excuse me. I checked it earlier and highlighted. The AWDO, ALDO 2020, they made that report, and so the ADB is making that effort, and I mentioned the water welfare report, the Asia welfare report. All of that is basically looking at the situations of each country. That's where we can look at each country's situation, and by looking at each country's specific situations and issues, I think that's where we start to tackle and address these issues. So anyway, through the AWC, we're trying to put this all together, these efforts. And in November, we're going to have the AIWW meeting, and so that's why we're having this on air, so that we can make this on air. It's the preparations for AIWW, right? So if everybody participates in this and moves forward, I think.
Thank you very much for the great
help.
comment. I believe the Asia Welfare Report, as well as the other reports in the region, will provide the grounds for future cooperation based on the analysis. And with that, I think, thank you once again. We will close the Q&A session. And now I'd like to hand over to our lawmakers, our two respected lawmakers, for an overview of today. So first of all, Mr. Pyun, I would like to hand the microphone over to you.
Yes, by having a number of discussions, just like what was suggested by Lao PDR, we are facing different situations and circumstances by country. So we need to sit down and engage in in-depth discussions to analyze the best strategies and practices for individual country. This is what I hope for. I'm going to spare no effort and support for this direction.
Thank you very much. And now over to Mr. Im.
Thank you very much for joining us today. I would like to express my great sincere gratitude to every single participant, especially our participant from Lao PDR. He emphasized that every single country is facing different situations. That is correct. Because of climate change, some countries are facing drought, whereas other countries are facing flood. And because of these discrepancies between countries, AWC decided to launch the Asia Welfare Program in order to heighten the development level between different countries. Clean and safe water has to be provided for all humanity, and this representative Asia policy platform is going to help people who reside in the Asia Pacific region, and I'm going to actively participate in policy suggestions in the Korean government as well. Thank you very much for your
Thank you very much. Thank you to both of our two lawmakers, Mr. Pyun and Mr. Lim, for those remarks. And to all the panelists, as well as our participants, thank you once again for your undivided interest and support today. For your reference, the summary of the second AIWW on-air opening will also be available on YouTube in the following days. So for those of you who wish to revisit the discussions that we had today, please refer to the YouTube channels. And to conclude today's opening, the president of the Asia Water Council, Dr. Park, will deliver his final closing remarks. Please welcome him to the stage.
We have reached the end of the second AIWW on-air opening. It is my firm belief that the expertise and competencies shared today on Asia water cooperation in post-COVID-19 era will facilitate the achievement of the 2030 agenda and resolve global water problem. Due to the effects of the new normal and climate crisis, the world we now live in requires innovative and integrated water management, which is possible due to the fourth industrial revolution and the rapid digital transformation. And we can improve ourselves when cooperate with diverse stakeholders and organizations by sharing experiences and best practice together. I sincerely hope the second Asia International Water Week and on-air play a pivotal role in improving access to clean water and sanitation for all and achieve SDG 6 to enhance global water welfare. Today's opening ceremony is just the beginning of the second AIWW on air, which will continue for the next 6 months. I look forward to your continuous and active participation in the on-air program. Along with this process, the Asia Water Council promises to dedicate itself to promoting global interest in Asia water issues to successfully host the second AIWW in November. Once again, I appreciate everyone who participated in the second AIWW on-air opening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Park, for closing the second AIWW on-air opening. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your efforts today and your participation. We will actually take a commemorative photo all together. So for those of you who are participating online, please find a good position for your camera so that your face will be in the photo. I will give you a little bit of time for you to adjust the camera if you need the time. And for our panelists, also, please a big smile with your eyes and say hello to the panels through the camera. So I will count to 3. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, please wave your hands. 1, 2, 3. Big smiles. And wave. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your participation. And we will now take one more photo with just our panelists on site. 네, 현장에 계신 분들만 모으시고 저희가 한번 촬영 다시 한번 하겠습니다. 네, 앞쪽에 카메라를 봐주시고요. 네, 사진 촬영 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네. 아, 네, 일어서셔도 괜찮을까요? 네, 일어서서 진행하도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you. I would like to ask everyone to stand up for.
And for those of you participating online, that will officially be the end of our second AIWW on-air opening. Thank you once again for your participation, and we wish to see you soon in March. Thank you very much.